Have you ever wanted to stream Samus Returns, or just play it in a high resolution, or just even on your computer without the 3DS? Well, this tutorial's for you. I'll show you how to get this game and have HD textures and to play it at 60 frames per second. And you'll also be able to play this game at 4K. Before this tutorial, you will need Citra downloaded to your computer, and you will also need a CIA file of Samus Returns. If you already own the game and have it on your 3DS, you can get the CIA file by using this thing called God Mode 9. All you have to do once you boot up God Mode 9 is press the home button, select Title Manager, and select where you have the game stored. Then find the game through the list of games that you have, and once you do, then you can press Install CIA File, and you can press Standard. You also could just download it through other websites, but just for legal reasons, I do not support piracy, and I recommend that you get a legal version of this game. With that all out of the way, let's finally get into the tutorial. Alright, so here's all the stuff we need. We have Citra, we have the game file, but you might be wondering what these two files are here. Well, one of them you can download and the other one we will have to make. So, download this file here, it's going to be the top link in the description. So, open up Citra, select File, and select Install CIA. And you'll want to make a folder called 3DS Games. It doesn't have to be called that, it can be called whatever you want. That's just what I call it to make it easier on myself. And put your CIA file of Samus Returns into that 3DS folder here. Now open that 3DS Games folder and select the Samus Returns CIA. This will install it to Citra, and once it's done, you'll be able to play the game. You could just play it like this now, and you'd be totally good. But we are going to add some more stuff to it just to make it as a better experience. Now you're going to download the first link in the description, which is the HD textures. Now I got them from this video on screen here, so shout out to them. So once you've got these HD textures, you'll see these two files here. Now don't do anything with them just yet, because what we have to do now is right click here and click Open Custom Texture Location. So once we do this, then we want to open up that file over there. And then we are going to want to drag in the folder with all the zeros into there. And then we want to drag in the optional textures folder into the folder with all the zeros. So that way we have options in case we want to add them later on. Now these are mainly just like more Game Boy accurate Fusion Suit and really just minor stuff that like is really nice to have. I would honestly enable all of these if I were you. If you are going to do this though, make sure that you just copy the textures and paste them into the main folder and just click Replace File Destination. Now let's close off that, and now let's go over to Citra again and click on the Emulate tab for Samus Returns. Now this will be in the top left. Now what we are going to want to do is that we are going to want to go to Configure. Then we are going to want to click on Graphics. And now we can click Enable Custom Textures, so that way these textures will be HD. Since we're here, let's set up our controller. So I'm going to be using an Xbox controller, and you just click the Controllers tab, and I'm going to be setting up the Xbox controller, but you can use a keyboard and mouse if you like. Make sure though, if you do use a controller, to keep your mouse around, because you will need that to switch beams for the touchscreen. Now close all of that because now it's time for the final step, and that is the 60 frames per second. So what we're going to want to do is that we're going to want to open up the game, then click the emulation tab and go down all the way to cheats. So once we've gone down all the way to cheats, what we're going to want to do is that we are going to want to get this little thing open. Now this is a little document I keep this on just so I could have it for the tutorial. If you want to just copy the numbers manually, you can, but I'll try to put these numbers in the description. So what we'll do is that we'll click Add Cheat. And then once we've clicked that, we're going to copy and paste this code here and put it into the part where it says code. Now I am going to name this 60 frames per second. Make sure to click Save, and once we have added this cheat, what we can do is that we can enable this cheat by clicking this little check mark here. And now the game will run at 60 frames per second. There is one last step, and that is upgrading the game's resolution from its old 3DS very pixely screen to making it up to 4K or just 1080p if you like. So it's actually very easy. So now since the game is running 60 frames per second and we have that custom HD texture pack, all we have to do now is click the emulation tab, go to configure, and go into graphics. And then we can click this thing that says native here, and we can scroll down from a list to choose from. For texture filter, I click anime 4K ultra fast just because I think it looks the nicest for this game. Going from the 3DS resolution to just 2x is such a mind-blowing difference. And even if we go up some more and oh, looks like the textures are glitching out. Yeah, that can sometimes happen, I guess. I don't know why exactly that happens. So if you run into that, just refresh the game. As I was trying to say earlier, even if we go up to like all the way from its original one to the brand newest one, basically with it being like the max it can go, it is such a mind-blowing difference, and you can see so much more of the game. Like, I didn't even know this was even a whole 3D room. When I was playing this game on my 3DS, I'd even like register that this was like a room that had life in it and that was like 3D. I just didn't think about it like at all. But since I can actually see the game better, I can totally tell what's in this room. It's amazing. One last thing I'm going to mention is that Citra lets you make save states. So that means that if you're dumb and you die like I do often in this game, you can just load that state back and your progress will be good from that state you saved it as. So that'll be helpful, but this game already is pretty generous with its checkpoints, so I don't think it'll be much of a problem. Well, that is it for this video. I'm an average Metroid fan, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.